My name is Karen Costales and my topic is intake of nutrients and medications of children with neurodevelopmental disorders. Definition: there is a growing evidence that early nutrition affects later cognitive performance. The idea that the diet of mothers, infants, and children could affect later mental performance has a major implications for public health practice and policy development and for our understanding of human biology, as well as for food product development, economic progress, and future wealth creation.
Hi, I'm Dr. Carmen Baez Franceschi. Today I'm going to speak to you about how nutrition can affect schoolwork. First of all, let's talk about what type of food should we give to our children. We should give vegetables, we should give lean meats, fruits. We all know that. And usually kids don't want to do that, don't want to eat it. So what we have to do is find a way to give them the nutrients they need, but at the same time, let me tell you how this can affect their schoolwork. First of all, if somebody doesn't eat enough iron, that it's part of what we get from legumes or meats, we're gonna have anemia. Anemia is something that can be very serious, but what's gonna happen? It's gonna affect concentration, it's gonna affect memory, it's gonna affect energy. What happens if our child doesn't eat fruits and vegetables? That's where we get our minerals and our vitamins. Well, they're gonna have problems with concentration also, but also in school with cognitive work. They're not gonna be able to do schoolwork because they cannot even focus. So what we do is give them supplements. So let's get a multivitamin that has a flavor that they like, but it's very important to take into consideration how the body absorbs it. So let's look at that label and make sure it has all the types of vitamins that we need, especially the B complex, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and all the multivitamins generally have the nutrients that we need, but we have to make sure they're absorbed by the body. All the vitamins are not the same. And actually, we have to avoid certain foods like pizza, donuts. All these are empty calories, and they are gonna worsen the work in school, but also they're not gonna let the kids get to their full potential. And actually, it's a health problem. They're gonna increase diabetes, they're gonna increase high blood pressure. I see it all the time. I see kids with hyperthyroidism, and you take away the junk food and it goes away. I see kids with problems with glucose, obesity, and you change their diet and they improve. So I just wanna encourage you to just take care of your kids' diet. Take it seriously. You're gonna be increasing their lifespan and their full potential. I hope this information helps you. See you next time. Thanks for watching.
Implications in nutrition. Nutrition plays an important role in supporting structural and functional development of the human brain from conception through childhood and adolescence and into adulthood. Brain development begins in the embryo and continues into postnatal life. Pros and cons. Pros: eating a healthful diet and various medications improve the quality of life of a child with neurologically impaired. Cons: this sort of problem has not been treated as a priority in our country, so it will not be possible to find a treatment in which children have a huge improvement.
Nutrition and brain development. The first years of life are a period of remarkable brain growth and development. A baby's brain triples in size by its first birthday, reaching 90% of its adult weight by the age of 8. The young brain must produce large quantities of myelin, the material that insulates neurons and allows them to communicate quickly and efficiently. Neurons communicate at connection points called synapses, which are essential for perception, learning, and memory. During peak growth periods, the young brain produces up to 2 million synapses per second. A child's diet must supply energy and materials to support this incredible growth. Key nutrients provide the building blocks for lifelong intellectual, emotional, and social development. Breast milk is the gold standard for infant nutrition, and it is impossible to replicate its exact composition. However, nutrients found in breast milk, known to promote brain and eye development, can be added to infant formula to support the baby's developing intellect. These nutrients include phospholipids, fatty acids, taurine, choline, zinc, lutein, and iron. Phospholipids and fatty acids. Phospholipids are a type of fat found in the membranes of all cells and in myelin. The unique polar structure of phospholipids makes them essential for membrane fluidity and cell signaling. Fats make up 60% of the brain and nerves and 75% of myelin. During the first year of life, the fat content in an infant's brain more than triples. 2/3 of this fat consists of phospholipids. Together with essential fatty acids, phospholipids are the primary constituents of cell membranes. Two particular fatty acids, docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, and arachidonic acid, AA, play a strong role in cognitive and visual development. DHA and AA are highly concentrated in neural membranes, where their flexible structures enhance the cell's signaling functions. Outside the cell membrane, DHA and AA promote the growth of axons and dendrites and the formation of synapses.
Issues applied in Ecuador. Most investigations on autism spectrum disorder risk factors have been conducted in developed countries, where ethnicity and environment are different than in developing countries. We compare nutritional status, immune response, and microbiota composition in mestizo children with ACD with matched controls in Ecuador. 25 cases and 35 controls were matched by age, sex, and school locations. The prevalence of under and overweight was higher in children with ACD. Nutritional differences were accompanied by abnormal food habits and more frequent gastrointestinal symptoms in children with ACD.
Children with autism exhibit a number of different issues with eating. You could start with basic food selectivity. So it's not uncommon for parents to report that their child will only eat one type of food. They may eat only one color of a food. They may only eat one texture of a food. So for example, like a yogurt or something that's crunchy, they'll eat one or the other. How they go about this is sometimes they'll spit the food out if they don't want to take it. They will throw the food. Sometimes they'll gag, sometimes they'll vomit on the food. And those are just some of the ways that they do that. Now, the reason why they have trouble with the food is often very difficult to determine, because there's a lot of different reasons why you might have trouble or have food aversion. One of the most important things to do if you have a child with autism and there seem to be severe selectivity that may be impacting their nutritional intake. So for example, they're not getting in enough fruits and vegetables or vitamins throughout the day. Their weight's impacted by this. Socially, there's nowhere you can go to feed your child. They're having large bursts of behavior when you're trying to get them to eat things. So all these things it's not eating age-appropriate diet. So for example, the child's older, but they're eating smooth foods. The first thing you'd probably want to rule out is a medical background. I think that sometimes it's not looked at enough as a potential cause. It may not continue, but it may be the origin of the problem. For example, many kids have allergies, they have reflux, constipation. All of those could impact someone's eating. It would impact our eating. Now, when you have a child with autism that might have limited ability to communicate what's bothering them, these things can go under the radar. And oftentimes for children when they're younger, they may be experiencing things. Reflux is not uncommon for all children when they're younger, but if it persists, it could set the stage for future problems. If every time you took something and you ate it and you felt it come back up and it was uncomfortable, you might start to, refuse that a little bit. So as a parent, you're trying to get the food in, child's refusing the food, now you're getting worried, your child's not eating. You start to do anything you possibly can to get your child to take food, which means anything preferred, which all of a sudden those foods that might not be preferred, vegetables, fruits, or maybe sometimes healthier foods, go over here because you're so concerned about getting it in, which is understandable, but that's what happens. Now, as time goes on, you try to say, all right, it's time to introduce the new foods. Children start to refuse. You're worried because you don't want that. You want to make sure that they get their calories in, and this big battle ensues. So I think making sure that there isn't some medical origin behind it is very important.
Conclusion. Malnutrition is a frequent complication in NI children, impacting on overall health and quality of life. Severity of feeding issues generally increases with reduction of general motor function and cognitive ability. Nutritional assessment and support should be an integral part of the care of NI children, aiming at early identifications of children at risk of nutrition-related comorbidities.